And for several months now, Member of Parliament for the Grand Forks constituency, Ivor Stevenson, has been undergoing medical treatment in Martinique. Stevenson was airlifted from the Canefield Airport back in May after he fell ill. Prime Minister Roosevelt Skerrit at the time had provided confirmation of Stevenson's ailment and also assured the family that the government would provide its fullest support.
To inform the country, and in particular the residents of the Grand Forks constituency, that Honorable Ivor Stevenson, the Parliamentary Secretary and the Minister of Health and the Member of Parliament for the Grand Forks constituency, was hospitalized on Saturday morning after complaining of not feeling well. He was admitted, as I said, to the Princess Margaret Hospital, and on Saturday evening he was flown to Martinique for further medical examination and treatment. He is in stable condition, and as time goes by, if the need arises, I shall inform the country of his improvement. I also want to ask the country to pray for his speedy and successful recovery, and to also pray for his family as they go through this trying time, dealing with the illness of the husband and of course their father, and of course to the entire communities of Grand Forks, Riviere-Syriac and Mont John. So our prayers will continue with him, and we are providing the fullest support to the family, moral, in all ways possible, because certainly one can appreciate it's a very trying time for them. So just to indicate that he has been flown into Martinique and is undergoing further medical examination.
Shortly thereafter, a flurry of posts on social media claimed that Roosevelt Skerrit-led administration has been on a quest to replace Stevenson as he battles illness. Minister of Education Peter Seja back in June expressed his disgust at the post.
I am sure that many of you may have seen an article that has surfaced on social media about your beloved pal rep, Ivor Stevenson. I want to say to you that the writer of that article lacked decency. And what he has done is to use the illness of your beloved pal rep for political opportunism. But once again, friends, people of Grand Forks, Mont John, Riviere-Syriac, it is the United Workers' Party, led by Lennox Linton, who have sought to use the illness of Honorable Stevenson to make political mileage. It is not the first time that this has happened. In fact, it is a demonstration of heartlessness and insensitivity.
According to one post, a controversy over pit latrines in Grand Forks forced the Prime Minister to call on Stevenson to return all funds allocated for that project in that constituency. Seja used an opportunity at the closing ceremony of a two-day training workshop for new and existing businesses in Grand Forks to refute the claim.
At no time, and I want to be very clear, at no time did our leader and Prime Minister make any demands on Honorable Ivor Stevenson for any reason, and statements about monies being unaccounted for are nothing but fabrication by Lennox Linton and representatives of the United Workers' Party.
Seja explained that under the pit latrine eradication project, Funds are channeled through village councils, and the parliamentary representative never has the responsibility to account for any of those funds. Additionally, the Post indicated that the constituents of Grand Forks had argued Stevenson to vote against the proposed amendments of the Elections Act and the Voters Registration Act, going as far as signing a petition, and that too may have contributed to the MP's condition.
This, my friends, is unfortunate, because the author or authors of this misinformation, what they have done, they have taken the regrettable condition of your PALREP, and they have tied it with the amendments to the House of Assembly Elections Act and voter registration. This cannot be condoned in Dominica. We all are men, and we are subject and susceptible to illnesses.
The Post concluded that constituents were angry with the insensitivity. The Post concluded that constituents were angry with the insensitivity of the Prime Minister, suggesting that Skerrit has already begun his search for a new representative for Grand Forks. Seja vehemently struck this down.
Let me emphatically say that every statement in this diatribe of the UWP statement posted in the social media is a fabrication. It is a lie. The Dominica Labour Party has always stood in full support of every one of its comrades. In fact, our beloved Prime Minister has demonstrated both publicly and privately that he takes at heart the welfare of every one of his colleagues. Elections in the Grand Forks constituency is not and has never been a priority, much less a discussion of the Dominica Labour Party. The DLP government has placed paramount importance on the return to full health of your parliamentary representative, Ivor Stevenson, and that will remain our primary preoccupation.
Seja exclaimed that with Stevenson at the helm of the Grand Forks constituency, the Dominica Labour Party is well rooted, and asked that everyone continue to pray for him. During the recent opening of a smart center at the Grand Forks Primary School, the first of its kind in Dominica, Seja once again assured the constituents of Grand Forks that Stevenson was doing well and would be returning to them soon.
I take this opportunity to welcome all to the scenic community of Grand Forks, a community where first-time visitors are always tempted to take up permanent residence. I wish, on behalf of the parliamentary representative, Honorable Ivor Stevenson, to welcome all to this ceremony and to assure you, the people of Grand Forks, that your parliamentary representative, Honorable Ivor Stevenson, is making steady progress, and we anticipate his return to the constituency within the coming weeks.